Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This past week, I caught this headline: the second brother of the Wachowski Brothers duo, the men who directed the Matrix film, the second brother of the two has now come out as transgender, something the other brother had done a number of years ago. They give us this article showing us pictures of the brothers who are now sisters. What stood out to me most of all is how one of the two referenced the film Silence of the Lambs. The entire time this transgender thing has been going on in the mainstream, I've been thinking about this film, Silence of the Lambs, and its predictive programming. When the film came out in the early 90s, it was very rare for there to be a female lead, a female hero. In that film, if you've never seen it, it's about a young FBI agent, a young woman tracking down a serial killer who is a man who is murdering women, skinning them, and putting together a woman's suit to wear, kind of like becoming transgender. And the thing about the FBI is, the FBI was headed by J. Edgar Hoover from its inception to his death, and it has come out that he was into dressing up as a woman. It's not that he was transgender, but he was into cross-dressing, which is what you could say the next tier down from transgender is. You know, dressing up as a woman instead of converting to one. So in this article, one of the Wachowski brothers, who now goes by the name Lily Wachowski, says this. Lily cites one classic film, 1991's The Silence of the Lambs, as having demonized and vilified the transgender community for its depiction of the serial killer character James Buffalo Bill Gum, played in the film by Ted Levine. While the media has since come a long way in transgender acceptance, she writes, so-called bathroom bills do not keep children safe. They force trans people into bathrooms where they can be beaten and or murdered. We are not predators, we are prey, Wachowski says. So, I hear what he's saying, but at the same time, this transgender thing is a choice. Nobody is forcing you to get a sex change, to take testosterone pills, to do whatever it takes to convert sex. That is a choice. And I hear people saying things such as, well, when they're little boys, they felt like they're little girls. Or when they're little girls, they feel like they're little boys. So now they want to become what they've always felt like. Still, that is ultimately a choice. What transgender people are doing is saying their case is the same as race. I disagree. You cannot choose your race. You're born a race. When people discriminate against race, they're discriminating against something that, it goes beyond choice. Transgender, it's a different ballpark. It's a different ballgame. And, if you believe in freedom, then you should be in support of people making this transgender choice if they really want to. But at the same time, if transgender people recognize there's a danger to it, it's not accepted, that you could become prey, then they should evaluate that and think about that. I'm not saying it's right that these people are injured, but you know what? This is the world we live in. If you're going to make a choice that puts your life in greater danger, make that choice responsibly, make it consciously. But don't sit out here and pander and say we need all this support and all this. It's a choice. So anyway, with regards to The Silence of the Lambs, I want to talk about this film as well as J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI, his death. Again, this film came out in the early 90s. The main character is played by Jodie Foster. She's a young FBI agent. She's tracking down a serial killer. The name of the film, The Silence of the Lambs, has gematria of 84, 93, and 102, identical to United States of America, which equals 84, 93, and 102. Where it says 103, that's a typo. Excuse me, that should say 102. These are exact matches. 84, 93, 102. The film released February 13th, 1991, the 44th day of the year, and in a moment I'll talk about what this has to do with the main villain in the movie, Buffalo Bill. The main character, played by Jodie Foster, is named Clarice Starling. Notice the gematria of 33. The FBI established in history on July 26th, 1908, a date with 33 numerology. They were the federal police force. Federal equals 33 in gematria. Police equals 33. So 33, a very fitting number for a character for the FBI for a movie. Clarice also equals 51, like federal. Federal the big way equals 51. She's working for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The film came out on Lupercalia, the 44th day of the year. Lupercalia in gematria equals 44. This year, Antonin Scalia passed away on that date, 2016. It's an ancient Roman festival celebrating death. Think about Scalia, Lupercalia. His death, part of these ongoing hoaxes, scripted narratives by the numbers. It's another topic, though. You can check out my videos on that. The date this film came out, though, is a date with numerology of 106, which is the number of prophecy. And in a way, I think this is subtle predictive programming of what was to come. You know, right now, all sorts of movies, all sorts of TV shows are coming out with female action leads, where they're the hero, where they beat up the men, where they're large and in charge. All sorts of narratives like this. We're also seeing a lot more homosexuality in shows and movies. There's a definite direction mainstream media is taking us. These Wachowski brothers, who we started with, work for the industry that is taking us there. Lupercalia in simple English gematria sums to 98, like prophet. Prophet and Lupercalia in simple English gematria both equal 98, a number that's often paired with 106. This came out on Lupercalia, a date with 106 numerology. Just point that out. The main characters are Hannibal Lecter, played by Anthony Hopkins, who's a imprisoned serial killer who Jodie Foster is talking to try to get information about the current killer on the loose, Buffalo Bill, who's played by Ted Levine. I'll show you something interesting about Ted Levine, Jodie Foster, and Reagan's assassin in just a moment. You might remember the Ronald Reagan assassination. The shooter did it to impress Jodie Foster. Talk about that in just a moment. Hannibal Lecter in gematria, what stands out to me about his name, Hannibal equals 34, like murder. Lecter, 27, numbers associated with death. He's a serial killer. Also sums to 61, the God number in Jewish gematria. Hannibal in simple English gematria also sums to 61. The main killer in the film, Buffalo Bill, in gematria sums to 44 the small way and 98 the big way, identical to Lupercalia, 44 and 98, and the film released on this day. No coincidence. Jodie Foster's birth name is Alicia Christian Foster, gematria of 102. Silence of the Lambs, remember, equaled 84, 93, and 102. Fitting for the movie. Her debut role was Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver equals 54, just like her name. She'll be turning 54 later this year, November 19th. What's interesting is Ted Levine has the same birthday as John Hinckley Jr., Ronald Reagan's attempted assassin, who supposedly shot him and who did it to impress Jodie Foster. He's also born on May 29th. Something tells me that's not a coincidence. It's all part of the riddle, the joke that is. This guy is trying to kill Jodie Foster in the movie. The Ronald Reagan assassination happened a decade before Silence of the Lambs came out, 1981, 1991. Frank Levine, a name he goes by, Ted for short. Frank Levine sums to 54 like Jodie Foster. Ted Levine, 42 and 96, just like the word Freemason. It's a Masonic network through and through. His birthday corresponds with the gematria of Alicia Christian Foster, Jodie Foster's full name. Some things could be a coincidence. Here's John Hinckley, also born on May 29th. Levine born 2 years after him. Jodie Foster, the film came out 86 days after her birthday. Symbolic role, Clarice. The word symbol equals 86. The word triangle equals 86. The word pyramid equals 86. Let's look at the FBI now and J. Edgar Hoover. So J. Edgar Hoover, the active director of the FBI from when it was created to when he passed away, May 2nd, 1972. Show you all that's interesting here. John Edgar Hoover in gematria sums to 84 and 102. United States of America, 84, 93, 102. The Silence of the Lambs, 84, 93, 102. He would die on May 2nd, 1972 at the age of 77. He would die on the 77th meridian, known as the American meridian, that cuts through Washington, D.C. The day he died on, May 2nd, 72, a date with 79 numerology. The word murder equals 79. The FBI changed its name to Federal Bureau of Investigation on March 22nd, 1935, a date with 79 numerology. May 2nd is typically the 122nd day of the year, but he died in a leap year, so it was the 123rd day. Conspiracy equals 123. Freemason and Francis Bacon gematria equals 122. Special date, special numbers. Again, dead at age 77. Show you this. Washington, D.C. and American meridian, which cuts through Washington, D.C., both have gematria of 137. That's the 33rd prime number. Federal equals 33, like Clarice. Date of establishment for the FBI, 33 numerology. Police has gematria of 33. It was the Federal Police Force. That date of establishment, the numerology of 79. J. Edgar Hoover, dead on a day with 79 numerology. Again, murder equals 79. I point out that murder the small way equals 34 because Federal Bureau of Investigation, the big way, sums to 304, and 0 doesn't count in numerology, so 304 is a lot like 34. Tying in with the 79 coding, the death of J. Edgar Hoover. The small way, Federal Bureau of Investigation, sums to 133, just like government, just like White House. See how they contrive these names? It's all a big game to these Masons. They love this language of gematria. They've coded it on all of their doings, including the FBI. Also, that date, March 22nd, in most parts of the world is written 22/3. Masonic equals 223. The Masonic order Skull and Bones that many presidents and people in high places come from, 322. The reflection. Alumni of Skull and Bones are known as Bonesmen, gematria of 33, 42, Masonic numbers. J. Edgar Hoover, one of his most known quotes, "Justice is incidental to law and order." Meaning he's one of those, if it justifies, I've lost my words right now. If the end justifies the means, that's what I was looking for. He's one of those types of dudes. Justice is incidental to law and order. He's all about maintaining law and order no matter what. Justice secondary. And that's the truth of this nation, right? Laws only apply to some people. It's all about maintaining the system we live in. Justice, gematria of 33. Order, gematria of 33. These Masons created our language. From May 23rd, 1935, the day he assumed his position, to May 2nd, the day he died, a span of 13,555 days. What stands out to me is that 555 sequence. In Washington, D.C., you have the 555-foot-tall Washington Monument. You also have the Pentagon that's 5 floors above ground, 5-acre court in the middle, and 5-sided. 555. The word new in letters to numbers breaks down to N equals 5, E equals 5, W equals 5. And what these 555 tributes are tributes to the New World Order, the Masonic order that established this nation. If you're wondering how N equals 5 ends the 14th letter, 1 plus 4 equals 5, E's the 5th letter, W's the 23rd, 2 plus 3 equals 5. So this is what it is, truth seeker. A nation by the numbers. And the same people giving us the movies are the same people giving us our history, are the same people giving us our news headlines by the day. When you look at all of this information, put it all together, you realize how undeniable the pattern is. Masonic men in high places ruling over us with dishonesty, deceit. J. Edgar Hoover, someone who had the FBI spying on people's personal lives, and then he himself cross-dressing, participating in homosexuality, things that were forbidden at the time, things that were shunned in society. Lots of hypocrites in high places, judgmental people with problems of their own. And with regards to all this Masonic coding, these Wachowski brothers, they go by the name the Wachowskis, which has gematria of 74, just like the word Masonic. These numbers coded over and over in their names. Lawrence Wachowski, 74, goes by the nickname Larry, or used to. Larry equals 74. Their new names are Lena Wachowski and Lily Wachowski, more of that 74 coding. Number for Masonic. So yeah, just wanted to get these thoughts out there. Show how the plan's all being executed and being subtly forecast through films such as The Silence of the Lambs. You know? Powerful movie, memorable movie. I saw this movie as a child, really stuck with me. I remember seeing it in the theater as a kid. I would have been 7 years old at the time, not even 8 yet. Also, that moth symbolism makes you think of monarch mind control. The mind control's through the TV, through the screens, through the movies, through the constant programming. You see how people take on this information and it becomes a part of them. Older man I know has a 13-year-old daughter that lives in a different state. He's separated from his wife. And he tells me, when I talk to him, that his daughter, she's all influenced by this transgender thing. So all this programming, it reaches the youth, just like it reached me when I was a kid, and it has an impact. You got little kids who are thinking about transgender because it's big on the screen these days. When I was a kid, this wasn't a topic discussed. It wasn't something we thought about. Out of sight, out of mind. So this programming, it has a real impact. They've been bringing it on slowly over the years. It's really heating up. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, a lot of it's just to confuse us. When we're confused, we're more easily controlled. And it's in the title, Truth Seeker, The Silence of the Lambs. If we, the people, are the lambs, we're definitely the silent ones, because not many people are speaking out against all the wrongdoing, even though they see it. All right, until next time, Truth Seeker.